wanted to ask you, Doug, as well, on the political fallout from this here in Scotland. I mean, this is a UK-wide ruling, we shouldn't forget, but Joanna Cherry, former SNP MP, has obviously been very, very vocal on this issue. She said today Nicola Sturgeon should apologise to Scottish women following the ruling. Is that going too far, do you think?
No, because I think not necessarily in terms of policy and the law, but the way that people who raised really legitimate concerns about this were painted as bigots, right-wing extremists, and yeah, I think Nicola Sturgeon does owe some of those many of those campaigners an apology. She's not the only one who owes apologies. There was others. These were legitimate concerns about opening up. I know the case related to board membership in Scotland, but moving on, the wider debate, the gender recognition certificate, the simplifying of it as a way of getting, that you don't need to go through gender reassignment. The thing is, we've got to remember, almost at the side of this is a relatively small group of people who've really serious issues and obviously deserve support. But the whole thing, when you think back on it now, it just seems it seems bonkers to me that all you need to do is effectively tick a box, say you've lived 3 months as a woman, and then all of a sudden you can legally be a woman. I understand that's not what this case was about, but the whole debate, it seems such a weird thing for Nicola Sturgeon to really, pin her political future to.
I mean, I do feel that on the GRC debate, we've come a long way from 2022 when legislation was passed at Holyrood, when we should say with cross-party support, on making it easier to self-identify your gender. Between then and now, the political landscape does seem to have changed very quickly. We have obviously seen change in leadership across parties, and the Scottish Government's legislation being upended by Alistair Jack, the former Scottish Secretary. But the Scottish Government now under John Swinney has been clear they're not bringing back that legislation anytime soon. But that's not to say that maybe after next year's election, depending on the result, that maybe it will rear its head again. I mean, what will be interesting is where this plays within the party manifestos. Now, obviously, it's not going to be anywhere near the Scottish Conservatives or Reform UK. We know what the Greens will say on the issue. But how the SNP, what if the SNP made this a manifesto commitment? I think that's an unanswered question, particularly, or how strong a case they make for it in their manifesto remains to be seen. So while this is a line that's been drawn under part of the argument today, I mean, I think this is something that will run and run.